Now look, Drake has landed himself in another lawsuit, yes, another one, and since this one is about allegedly stealing music, we're not wasting a single second. Before we even get deeper into this mess, hit that like button. Seriously, go do it, because I'm about to say it, the cupcake is really cooked this time. These lawsuits are piling up like laundry, the paperwork Karen's getting is looking way too creative, and something strange is definitely brewing. We're basically standing at the edge of watching the absolute worst unfold for Drake. So if you're ready to see why Drake just got slapped with a massive, career-shaking lawsuit that could expose a whole lot more depending on how this ends, brace yourself. It's about to get ugly. You already know what to do, like, subscribe, all of that. Because we're not dragging this out for the complainers. We've got questions that need answers, and we're jumping straight into what this lawsuit is actually about, which all comes down to Drake's record. What did I miss? Oh, trust me, everything. Drake is now locked in a top-tier copyright lawsuit, and the whole thing boils down to a photographer accusing him of ripping off a photo for that cringe-inducing music video, you know, the one where Drake was dancing in a freezer, trying to look unbothered, pretending his career was still steering itself, and selling this whole I'm back fantasy. Not only did the record flop after barely touching the charts, proving nobody missed you, Drake, but now this supposed comeback track has spiraled into becoming the centerpiece of Drake's entire 2025 disaster era. It didn't just deliver his first real lead single flop in forever, in terms of how badly it stuck to the charts, it also handed him the biggest accomplishment of all, a lawsuit on this level. And the article reporting all of this? Yeah, it's coming from one of the strongest, most reputable music sources we have. Compared to the usual chaos, this already tells you how serious things are. Billboard is reporting that Drake's What Did I Miss video copied a photo created by a controversial photographer, yes, that photographer from the Balenciaga campaign, the one with the disturbing imagery that had half the internet demanding everyone's jobs. Apparently, this is who Drake pulled inspiration from. This is who he's accused of copying. And now that same photographer is firing back with a lawsuit. And listen, I gotta pause here. Because with all the times people have accused Drake of something, sometimes it's someone you genuinely feel bad for. Someone clearly wronged. Someone who deserves sympathy. But here? Absolutely not. This man took some of the most disturbing campaign photos we've seen in years. Him calling out Drake is literally a trash can screaming at another trash can for being trash. That's what's happening. Now, about the lawsuit and the man behind it, Gabriel Glamour Bertie, and yes, I'm probably butchering that, claims Drake used his image to link a notorious fashion campaign to Kendrick Lamar's certified diss. And this is where things go left, so just stay with me. He's now going after Drake, OVO Sound, Republic Records, and UMG for copyright infringement. Why? Because he claims that in the music video, the part where Drake's standing by the pool surrounded by props, he thinks make him look intimidating, that entire shot is stolen from Berta's book. A book featuring a man positioned by a pool with similar items. And even though I can't show the whole thing, it's pretty clear those items Drake used are, well, suspiciously familiar. Bertie says Drake copied the portrait down to the symbolism, the elements, the vibe, everything. He says Drake took his work, used it as creative scaffolding, and now owes him. And honestly, while I don't know how strong his case really is or what Drake's defense will look like, maybe Drake will try to call it an homage instead of a straight copy. What is clear is that Drake absolutely borrowed the idea. Whether intentional or not, it's obvious. And I could see Drake losing this one simply because he used another artist's work to prop up his own creativity and benefit from it. That's exactly what this looks like. But let me be real. Between the guy pushing this lawsuit, again, Trashcan versus Trashcan, and the principle of the whole situation, what actually interests me the most isn't the lawsuit itself. The real story here, the part that matters, the part you cannot ignore anymore, is this. It's become painfully clear. And at this point, there's no denying it. Over the last few weeks, we watched 2 lawsuits hit Drake and Stake. Then another 2 landed on Spotify, with Drake sitting right at the center of them, all about allegedly fake streams and artificially boosted numbers that supposedly propped up his stats. And now, after getting dragged into those 2 lawsuits, plus being the focal point of 2 others with industry-shaking receipts, here comes another one. This time, he's being accused of stealing and completely ripping off work for one of his biggest releases this year. Have you caught it yet? Have you noticed what's happening? Because I'm about to spell it out. And for the Drake stans in the back already fuming, take a breath. You're not gonna like this, but you need to hear it. It's not that the industry is plotting against Drake. It's not that he's too powerful and everyone needs to take him down before he becomes MJ, Prince, the Beatles, and every rapper combined, because that's not what's going on. Let's just get that delusion out of the way. What is very clear, though, is that the green light has officially been turned on. Drake is now open season in the industry, fully exposed, fully questioned, and finally being treated like the walking grift machine critics have been calling him for years. Because from the way he leveraged his influence to land that steak setup, to the fake numbers mess on Spotify that morphed him from the Iceman into the Turkey Man, to this new lawsuit showing a direct reference point of him ripping off another artist, the pattern is undeniable. One of the most talked about visuals from Iceman Episode 1, that entire moment he used as symbolism, is now being pointed to as stolen. And the original artist is furious because he got zero credit. This is all heading in one direction, and it isn't up. We're already at 5 lawsuits in like 2 or 3 weeks. And it's starting to look like a lot more people who feel wronged, or who feel wronged by the machine Drake built, are lining up to come after what they think they're owed. Or they're stepping forward simply to push for fairness in an industry that's been messed up for a long time, especially when it comes to artists and creatives. Because what's becoming clearer each time something new drops is that Drake hasn't been playing by the rules. He's openly cut corners, just like we're seeing in this lawsuit, and he assumed he'd always get a pass. And honestly, maybe for a long time, the labels were covering for him. Maybe they did protect him, maybe they swept a lot under the rug, because they were all eating well off the grift with Drake right in the middle. But now, Drake flipped the whole dynamic upside down when he decided to sue the very people who made him the all-time grifter he became, all because of Not Like Us and its success. And the more this plays out, the more that move looks like one of the worst decisions he has ever made. So here we are. A lawsuit not just against Drake, but also against Republic Records and UMG, the 2 major labels he works under, the system he represents, the machine he benefited from for years. And now you have to ask, what's Drake's actual value to them anymore? Because with all the chaos he's caused and with the tanking value of his music in real time, it is not looking good. If we break down 2024 alone, he's dropped over 30 songs. The only one that did anything was Nokia. Everything else either cost more to push than it made back, or it straight up flopped. These big Iceman records? The ones they invested in heavily? They missed the mark completely and became some of the biggest flops of Drake's entire career. So pair all that with the lawsuits, with him dragging his own label into court, and with the labels having to burn their resources defending themselves against their own artist, it's messy. It's eating up time, money, attention, all while the new music isn't delivering anything meaningful in return. The only thing keeping his numbers alive is his back catalog, Take Care, Views, and even those, as the lawsuit documents showed, are heavily owned by UMG. They don't need Drake in the room for those albums to make money. They don't need him to drop a single new thing. And that's the real issue. Drake didn't realize this when he pulled the trigger on all this madness. But now, it's painfully obvious, he has absolutely no motion left. His career is spiraling, the free fall is happening in real time, and everything is just collapsing right in front of him. Well, and again, for the Drake fans, don't crash out, don't melt down, don't throw your phone at the wall. I'm literally just telling you the truth. The guy who used to be the golden boy of the industry, the one who made everybody win and gamed the system in ways that benefited every power player around him, he's not that guy anymore. And it's starting to look like the industry just can't keep up with the chaos he keeps creating. It's turning into this endless feedback loop of more lawsuits, more mess, and more revelations about what he's really been up to all this time. And honestly, when you look at Drake's value in the music industry right now, people need to understand something. Yes, his back catalog holds insane value, yes, most of his streams come from the old albums, yes, when he drops, people tune in, but not because they're excited. They tune in because they want to see what kind of new disaster he's cooked up. That's the reality. Combine that with the fact that he's basically a B-list rapper in terms of current relevance, plus the non-stop lawsuits, plus him filing lawsuits against the bosses who built him and padded his pockets. You can see exactly why everything is such a mess. He's making problems for everyone, he's dragging everyone into his mud, and at this point, he's become too much trouble for the music industry. Nobody knows what to do with him. It genuinely looks like the switch has been flipped against him. Because there was a time when Drake could do no wrong. The numbers always hit, no matter how bland the music was, and nothing shook. But that era is dead. And it's dead because he flipped the entire dynamic out of arrogance, out of embarrassment, out of losing that beef so completely it rewrote his whole identity. And let's be real, if Kendrick Lamar got hit with a lawsuit like this, if someone claimed Kendrick stole their work, which would be shocking, since everything Kendrick does feels like it comes from the most authentic, untouched creative space an artist can reach today, I guarantee you the label would protect him harder than Fort Knox. Because Kendrick brings them value. He's had 4 #1 records in the last 2 years. Every drop is a cultural event. Every tour gets bigger. Everything he does elevates the people working with him. But Drake? Drake has relied on the system more than anyone else. He depended on it like oxygen. And now he's become the biggest headache inside that system. That relationship is over. They're not saving him anymore. And that's why this What Did I Miss lawsuit, on its own, isn't some huge gotcha. The photographer who's suing Drake, the same one behind that disturbing Balenciaga campaign, is a trash bag suing another trash bag. That's not the point. The real weight of this lawsuit is the principle of it. What it mean going forward. What it signals about the industry's tolerance level hitting zero. Because if you watch the last 5 lawsuits across all these different areas and still think more aren't coming, you're delusional. They're absolutely coming. And they're only getting worse. Look at the progression. First, Drake is accused of manipulating his audience for the worst possible outcomes, then he's accused of faking 37 billion streams, and now he's accused of stealing the music that fuels the very machine that fakes those streams in the first place. What we're watching is Drake being exposed step by step. Every piece of his stardom, every part of the persona he built. It's all unraveling. It's all being proven false. And it's collapsing in real time. And honestly, this is the era we're in now. Rap is quiet, the industry is rattled, nobody knows how to contain Kendrick's run, and everyone else seems to be crumbling from the pressure. This feels like the beginning of a wave where more lawsuits are going to expose what's been happening behind the scenes, the gaming of the system, the shortcuts, the industry plant behavior. And I don't think it stops at hip-hop. I think a lot of artists who've been propped up artificially are about to get the exact energy they put out returned to them. But for hip-hop and for Drake specifically, this is the shift. This is what's going to change his name forever. This is what's going to rewrite how the last 10 to 15 years are remembered. And as Drake gets sued again, lawsuit number 5, by the way, we both know there's more coming. Watching how this unfolds is going to be wild because we really are in the sup era. And Drake is only going to get exposed further for stealing music. We've already seen the ghostwriter accusations, the angry creatives who claim he never credited them, the people accusing him of lifting whole ideas. This cloud has been hovering over him forever. And if you paid attention, you could see it coming. All that versatility people bragged about wasn't real. It wasn't him. Drake has been an actor wearing everybody else's styles and ideas like costumes. And for the Drake stans, don't get mad, but you will. Here's the truth. With these lawsuits, they're all about to get crazier, scarier, spookier, hilarious, or all of the above. So yeah, that's it. Tell me what you think about this new Drake lawsuit. Tell me where you see this going, how you think it ends, and how you think this whole saga evolves now that people are openly saying he steals music. And listen, if you made it this far, I can't wait to hear your thoughts. And if you're still here, hit like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps the channel, and I hope you have an amazing day and an amazing weekend. Happy Friday. And if you want to hang out longer and watch how Drake's crash-out buddies Rory and Mal manage to destroy everything they've ever built in just 24 hours, trust me, hip-hop is resetting itself, and some of the worst players in it are getting exposed or taking themselves out. It's all happening right there. So don't miss that one. Go check the suggested video.